All systems go. Clear for takeoff.
What is going on, YouTube? We're back on the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station here for another episode of the MLB Witching Hour. We're in the dog days of fall here, Hebrew, and we got September baseball. Always a fun time. Very, very good night for us over here at SHIPITNation.com. And I talked about it all show long. A lot of groupthink happens this time of the year, right? Especially everyone's kind of in that NFL mindset. Put baseball on the back burner, days that there's no NFL, like Tuesday, yesterday, and today for sure. Obviously, you got Friday there and Saturday too with no NFL. People, there's a lot of groupthink. A lot of people get lazy, kind of just listen to takes around the industry, kind of just all condense on a similar build. Talked about the Verlander yesterday, talked about some of those Oakland bats getting there, and talked about those Mets big time who, if you didn't have the Mets last night, you were struggling to make money. Had a very good night over here, looking to run it back tonight. It's not the same kind of slate. It's definitely a gross slate here tonight. It feels like you close your eyes, throw a dart at a dartboard, have every team on here, and whatever it lands on, you want to stack them up because no really clear spot outside of the Astros, which we'll touch on. Pitching seems to be condensed on a couple guys, but we'll break it down for everyone here. I'll bring you in, Hebrew. How you doing, man? Happy Wednesday. How was your last night? How has NFL been for you? What's going on, man?
Yeah, everything's good. NFL was a little rough for me last weekend, but, it is what it is. Move on to week 2. Recorded my show yesterday, so hopefully you guys got to check out some of the early look thoughts that I had. Yeah, baseball was pretty good for me yesterday. I dipped my toe into the 150, the mini max, and came out successful on that. Had a couple teams that were right there with you in like the 180 point range. But yeah, shout out to all of the winners that we had yesterday. Had some really good wins, and yeah, this slate does not look that great, but you've seen a lot of ownership condensed around certain plays. It kind of, we're talking about it before. It's kind of a decent GPP slate where you can kind of get a little bit different in the bats. So yeah, that's what we'll be looking at today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're making a push towards 4,000 now. Drive for 4 here. We hit the 3,000 subscribers. Appreciate y'all hitting that subscribe button if you guys have not already. There will be a giveaway. Tambo and Hoop are going to give that away, I think, maybe tomorrow on that Thursday Night Football Showdown show. I believe that is on Mail Media Network tomorrow. But we'll post it on Twitter at SHIPIT Nation on our Twitter page. We'll be in the Discord as well. So we appreciate that. Hit that like button if you guys are new as well. Again, this is brought to you by SHIPITNation.com. The price is $69 a month now, $6.99 for the year. We told you the promos were going to go away. That promo price for $321 all-in 6-month rate has gone away, but still $69, still the cheapest price in the industry for all-in, for all sports, all content, all projections, all tools, everything you need to have success with DFS. But let's jump right in. Let's go pitchers like we always do, Hebrew. We're going to go pitchers on DraftKings pricing. Mainly going to focus on the DraftKings slate here. I know FanDuel has a couple of different of those games. We can hit on those just real briefly. But to be honest, I haven't opened the FanDuel app in a couple months, so I don't want to give advice for a site that I don't play too much over there and mainly only stick to NFL and NBA over on that site. But DraftKings pricing, let's talk pitchers. Let's talk 8K and above. One guy I want to throw it off the top, Hunter Brown, clear-cut chalk of the slate, probably 45 to 50% plus ownership here. Gets that matchup against Oakland at home. Astros highest implied run total on the slate. And he's just 8,200. Been very good over the last month as well. Obviously, everyone is not as scared of that Oakland lineup, but like you and I were talking pre-show, they can be pesky. Got to JV a little bit yesterday. Definitely talked that on being underweight on JV yesterday right here on this show, saying some of those bats like Shea Langeliers, who did hit a bomb last night. So we'll hit on him. He's the clear-cut chalk right there at 8,200. And then all the way up at the top, Zach Gallen coming in pretty high owned. You got Kikuchi in here against Texas. And then really anyone else in here, not going to be super high owned by any means. You got Blake Snell all the way up at the top at 10-1 against those Dodgers out in LA as the hammer game. Any interest? Where are you going up here in this top tier?
Yeah, so if I'm running a single entry team, which I will have one, but I'm also going to be doing 150 tonight. But for a single entry, I would just be going to Hunter Brown. It's just he's too cheap. Really helps you get to all the bats you want. But I think we'll talk about stacks later, but I do think there's some leverage in stacking against him. Yeah, I see a 34% ownership. It probably comes in higher depending on your tournaments. But yeah, I don't love the guys up top. You can make a case for them like Snell and Gallen probably have the highest ceiling on the slate, but just looking at like projections and their strikeout props, they're not much different than all the guys priced below them. So I just don't really see a need to want to get up to them unless you just have 2 or 3K left over in your stack and you want to spend the money. But yeah, I think the guys below them are just about the same pitcher on this slate. So I'm not going to be making an overweight stance on any of those guys. I don't mind Kikuchi here a little bit. He's been pretty solid all year, and the Texas team said it last week, but they're slipping a little bit. Their lineup has gotten a little bit worse, losing some players throughout the season, and Kikuchi's been pretty good. He got a 5.5K prop, some pretty good juice on it, so I don't mind him. But yeah, I'll be off Pepio or Pepiot, I'm not sure how you say it, and then Montgomery off of him too.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. I differ a little bit. I'm on a slate like this, right, where I can't get a lot of good. Obviously, yesterday you guys heard me talk about the slate. I had a ton of good conviction. Wasn't even going to end up playing the slate, but I jumped on here, broke it down, did the research pre-show with Tito, and broke down the slate. And I was like, everyone's going to play the same team. So this is a great slate tonight. Threw in some last-minute teams there and almost shipped every contest on DraftKings. Turned $40 into 3,100. So it was a great night over here. And sometimes that's the best nights, the last second. This slate, definitely different here. I don't have a lot of conviction on either a bat or the pitchers. So a little bit different slate. I'm going to trust the metrics over here, our SHIPIT Nation tools. In slates like this, just trust the metrics, trust the process, trust the tools that have been good all season long for us to help make convictions. And Jordan Montgomery ranks well in those rankings. Pepio ranks good in those rankings, and Blake Snell ranks good in those rankings. All those guys up there at the top. Zach Gallen against the Mets. I'm not going to attack this Mets team right now. Zach Gallen's a good pitcher, but he is going to be, just the nature of the slate. People look at Zach Gallen, sub 10K against this Mets offense. Obviously, everyone just saw the Mets go nuclear last night. But you can't be results-oriented in DFS. Today's a new slate. Today's a new game. So I do think Zach Gallen comes in 30 to 35% owned. I'm going to be off Zach Gallen. He doesn't rank very good. He's one of the worst-ranked pitchers on our metrics over here, and he's going to get ownership here. I'm just going to take the fade approach there. I'd much rather just spend up $300, go to Blake Snell against the scarier lineup there in the Dodgers. But, man, that Dodgers lineup is not as scary as it once was. With a lot of those guys in there. So I do like Blake Snell. I think Pepio is fine against San Diego out in that game as well. He's going to be unowned. Sub 5% on Pepio there. I'm with you on Kikuchi. I think Kikuchi is a fine play. He ranks decent in our rankings over here. And this Texas team actually strikes out the 9th most in the league right now against left-handed pitching. So I do think he makes some sense. Obviously, you know what he is, right? You know what you're getting with Kikuchi. He's either going to go out there and strike out 6-7 guys, maybe give up a home run or two, or he's just going to get shelled. There's no in between really with Kikuchi. I think he goes out there and gets 5, 6, 7 strikeouts, right around where his K prop is. Juice is coming on the over there. So 8,600, I think he's fine. He's going to be right around 20 to 25% ownership. I don't think that really matters too much. Ownership on this slate outside of Hunter Brown is going to spread out at pitcher, I think. And then offense is what we'll touch on. Houston clearing away the number one team in terms of where everyone's going to go to tonight when you got a 6 implied total and everyone's else sitting in the 4s. Everyone's kind of just going to push the chips in on Houston. So we'll navigate that. So for me up in this range, I think I'm going to go Blake Snell, number one, all the way up at the top. Just the ownership, the potential upside. He's been good over the last month or so, and these Dodgers haven't been good against Blake Snell. Blake Snell's been very good against these Dodgers. Mookie Betts has 12 plus strikeouts against Blake Snell, and he's the scariest bat that I fear, right, against left-handed pitching. Could he get into one? Yeah, absolutely he could. But Blake Snell also has the highest ceiling, in my opinion, on this slate, even with the matchup. So I do like Blake Snell. Kikuchi's going to be number 2 for me. I think Kikuchi has a good matchup, and I think people overlook it, right, because Texas has been one of the best offenses early in the season, kind of all season long. Like you said, they slipped a little bit as of late. So I do like Kikuchi. And then Hunter Brown, I really want to be underweight on Hunter Brown. I really do. I just said the same thing last night, right? Oakland against Verlander. This is kind of that same process. If Hunter Brown goes out there and beats me, he beats me. I just think everyone's going to play him because of the nature of the slate and his price point. He's $8,200, and you got guys up here. You got Ryan Pepio at $8,900. Kikuchi's priced more in tougher matchups. I mean, Blake Snell is almost $2,000 more than him against the Dodgers, right? So I think his ownership comes in even higher owned. I'm playing 2 to 3 teams tonight, 2 for sure. If I played a third team, I'd probably put him in there, but I don't think I'm going to play any Hunter Brown in my first 2 teams, to be honest. I'm just going to take a chance. Maybe play some of those Oakland bats against him. Langeliers has good numbers again here tonight. So I'm going to be underweight on him. So for me in this range, it's really Blake Snell, number 1, Kikuchi 2, and then I'll go Ryan Pepio with the ownership number 3 up here. Let's hit on the rest of the range down here. Sub 8K. One guy I want to throw up, Clevenger for sure. Clevenger is going to be one of the highest owned pitchers on the slate. But, man, that weather there in Chicago, in the 60-degree weather, 8 to 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing in. I mean, not a very good environment for bats. And we'll touch on that when we get to bats, because I do think the White Sox come in pretty chalky here on the slate as well, against basically a bullpen game for Kansas City, which I never like. So hit on Clevenger at his ownership. And then another guy I want to throw out is Tanner Houck in that Fenway game there. He's the other cheap guy that people are going to go to. Really, no one else down here is getting really any ownership outside of those 2.
Yeah, it's hard for me to argue that these guys are bad plays here. And Clevenger has the same strikeout prop as the 2 highest priced guys, and a really good matchup. He's been actually like a pretty good pitcher this year, especially lately. He's got his ISO super low versus lefties, pretty good versus righties, good strikeout rate, 25%. We know that Kansas City likes to strike out a bunch. So, yeah, it's hard for me to argue against that play. And, yeah, Tanner Houck, good matchup also. Yankees been slipping a lot, good strikeout prop. So I don't really want to get super different with my SP2. I'm kind of okay with eating the chalk on these 2 guys. I'll mention a couple, maybe just one guy, because I don't really love – 2 guys. Joey Lucchesi. I think he just got called back up again. He's had some up and down starts in his stints with the Mets, but I think he's not the worst you could do at 6,200. And then I kind of like Alec Marsh coming in relief. I don't see a K prop on him, but he's had some big strikeout games, has a couple 9 strikeout games, couple 6s, and it's a little bit less pressure when you come in as a long reliever versus starting the game. So maybe that's just kind of how they want to view him for the rest of the season. So I don't mind him either, just at 5,500 if you really need the salary. So those would be the guys I'll be targeting.
Yeah, no, great breakdown. My 2 favorite pitchers on the slate are actually in this range. Clevenger in that game. I talked about the weather. I talked about the wind. Temperatures in the 60s drop into the low 60s, which is very cold for this time of year for baseball. Obviously, the game's in Chicago there, and there's also wind blowing in, so it helps him a little bit. And he gets a matchup against Kansas City outside of Kauffman Stadium. So I do like Clevenger quite a bit. He's going to get ownership. I just don't care. 7,900. I think he can get 5-6 strikeouts here, limit the run production, not get in too much trouble, and do enough on this slate. So I like him. And then the other guy I do like is Tanner Houck. There is some weather concerns there in Fenway, so definitely monitor that. I'm hoping that they do a late start. If they do a late start, Kevin Roth said, looks like the game's going to play. So if that game does not late start and they go out there, I would probably be completely off of Tanner Houck because then likely there is going to be an in-game delay and he likely will not come back out. So I'm hoping if the game does late start, I do love Tanner Houck. If it doesn't late start, there's definitely a chance for in-game delay there, looking at the stuff from Kevin Roth. So I would be off him. But as it stands right now, I think there's a late start. According to him, I like him. I love him at the price point there. The Yankees actually strike out the most on the road here. It's the best strikeout matchup on the board with their projected lineup. So I like him. And then really no other interest down here too much. I will throw out one guy, Braxton Garrett against Milwaukee. It's not a sexy name. It's not a sexy play. But it's still Milwaukee offense here. Braxton Garrett ranks pretty decent in our metrics over here. 12th best strikeout rate on the season of all the pitchers, including the early slate. So it is a lefty there against Milwaukee, which I think is fine. So those three for me. Let's go ahead and give the people our top three pitchers before we go game by game.
So for me, it's going to be, I'm going to reluctantly say Hunter Brown. I don't really want to overlook the price and the K props. I think he's kind of just like a safe option. I like Clevinger too, and then give me Tanner Houck number 3.
Yeah, no, great breakdown. I'm going to go Clevinger number 1, all things considered there. Tanner Houck, as it stands now, number 2 for me. And then I'll throw out Blake Snell and Kikuchi as 3 and 4 for me. Talked about Blake Snell. I just think people don't go there, right? He's the most expensive guy in the slate against the Dodgers, who just went nuclear last night, helped me win a lot of money. Would have been nice if Matt Muncy did a little bit more there, but JD Martinez had a massive 2 RBI single in the bottom of the 8th there, which was huge for me. So those are the 4 for me. Again, if you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Got to scroll up to my boy TTT ToeTagginTambo. He said the tour for 4 right there and the drive for 5. So let's hit the tour, not the PGA tour, the tour for subscribers right here on the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station. Let's get to 4,000 subscribers. More giveaways will be coming. And you see it right there, 6-month bundle giveaway, which is valued. It was valued at $321. Obviously, that price is no longer valid. Giving away tomorrow on that Thursday Night Football Showdown show, where they're going to give us the winners to ship all the money tomorrow night on the Showdown contest there. So make sure you do hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We appreciate you guys a ton. And that's going to bring us into the game by game. Again, I'm hitting on the DraftKings games here. Obviously, the earlier games, the Braves would be in a great spot, I think, against Sanchez there. Braves against the lefty, guaranteed 19 at bats on FanDuel. Really don't have a ton of interest in the other game, the other game there in the Cincinnati Tigers game on FanDuel. Really, the only offense I'd have interest in if I was playing the FanDuel slate would be the Braves. Obviously, 1 through 9 are firmly in play. Love the top 8 hitters. Michael Harris, I don't love a ton, but the other guys I think make a ton of sense. That's kind of the extent of my interest there if you are playing FanDuel. First game on the slate here, we're in Toronto. We got those Rangers against Kikuchi, Jordan Montgomery on the mound, 2 lefties here going at it. I think both pitchers are in pretty solid spots here, but Toronto has a pretty decent implied run total here against Jordan Montgomery. Davis Schneider for sure smashes lefties at home. Talk on him. Talk on any interest you have in this one, Texas and Toronto.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not going to be trying to full stack either of these teams, I don't think. You can make a case for a little mini with some of the Toronto guys with Springer, Schneider, and I guess if you're looking to fill out a stack with Alejandro Kirk, but it's not the sexiest play. But for me, it would just be Snyder for me, and he's a pretty elite one-off. Guy's just an absolute stud. Been crushing since he got the call up to the majors, and he crushes lefties. So he would be my favorite play on that side. And then Rangers, I'm pretty much just fully off of them. I like Kikuchi better. Don't really want to be trying to get different with a Rangers stack at this point in the season.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. I would definitely be on the Blue Jays side more, but really I don't have a ton of interest in this game at all. Davis Schneider's the only bat I would even consider playing. He is 5,200 though at second base. Typically people I like, personally, even myself included, like to punt second base. Just find value there. You can find a lot of cheap guys there. So could flip the build a little bit, pay up. I'm going with 2 fairly priced pitchers on my main team, so I might have the salary to play a little Davis Schneider there, one off. But overall, I don't love this game. Off the Rangers, off the Blue Jays for the most part. I think both pitchers are firmly in play here, and I do like Kikuchi quite a bit as well. Next game, best hitting conditions on the slate is in Fenway here, I believe. We got Tanner Houck, Clark Schmidt on the mound. Clark Schmidt's been very good over the last month. Tanner Houck actually has been pretty solid as well. And these Yankees, this confirmed lineup strikes out 31% against right-handed pitching on the road. I mean, you got Estevie and Florio, 50% strikeout rate leading off. Stanton, 36%. Austin Wells, 36%. Jake Bauers, 36%. Volpe's 27% strikeout rate. I mean, there's a lot of strikeouts in this lineup. And Tanner Houck, not a crazy strikeout pitcher, but still sitting 21, 22% on the season in a boost matchup here. So talk on this game, Yankees, 4.5 implied run total. Red Sox, 5.1 implied run total. I think the Red Sox are definitely interested here. I definitely like the Red Sox quite a bit in this one against Clark Schmidt, hoping for some regression there. And we just talked about it. Offense is pretty weak on the slate outside of the Astros and their high implied run total. So do you see something I'm missing in this one? Any Yankees, any Red Sox interest?
So for the Yankees, I wanted to be on them just because Tanner Houck is pretty bad versus lefties. The issue is the Yankees don't really have any scary lefty bats in that lineup. I mean, you have Florio, who we don't really know what he is right now. I'm sure he has some power, but you're not scared of him. Austin Wells, we've been trying to make him a thing for a while, and he just can't hit the ball. And Jake Bauers was good at the beginning of the season. Now he's just lost all of his talent apparently. So don't really want to make like a stand on the Yankees stack at all. So I'm going to be off of them, more on the Hawk side as long as the weather permits. And the Red Sox are a little bit more interesting because they actually have some competent lefties, and they're starting to see 6 of them right now. And Clark Schmidt's, he's a high ground ball pitcher, but a little bit worse to lefties. So I do think you can make a case for pretty much all of these lefties in the lineup. I haven't checked the price on Abreu, but I do like him. I'm assuming he's still pretty cheap.
And he's hitting 5th.
Yeah, right in the middle of the lineup. Should be able to get a lot of. Yeah, that's a good price for him. So he should get a good amount of RBI opportunities. And yeah, I like Verdugo a good bit too. See, I like now that I'm talking about it a little bit more, I like the Red Sox lefties a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Red Sox are my favorite stack of the night, all things considered here. Get the good hitting park, and definitely for the lefties, right? You get that short porch in right field, who I talk about all the time. These lefties can pull the ball down that line, get a short porch, and definitely helps out. And you got 5 lefties leading off, and then a 6th one there in the 7th spot. So management over there in the Red Sox organization sees the same thing we're seeing. You attack Clark Schmidt with lefties. Obviously, he's been very good over the last month, but looking at this season and last season, the complete numbers, I mean, 20% strikeout rate against lefties, a little bit decent hard hit, 193 ISO, a little bit lower ground ball rate as well. So I do think these lefties make some sense. I love Verdugo, Devers, Yoshida, Casas. Weiler Abreu is one of the best value plays, in my opinion, on the slate. Gets the good hitting park. And then Reese McGuire, I don't love a ton. You can always include Luis Arias, who actually has pretty good numbers over the last 30 days against right-handed pitching. So I think these Red Sox are definitely firmly in play for me. Probably my favorite stack of the evening here when you consider their discount and ownership off those Astros. So like that. On the Yankees side, obviously, you can always play Aaron Judge any slate, any given day that he's on, but really not a ton of interest. I like Tanner Houck quite a bit. I just really don't like stacking a team that strikes out over 30% because you get one strikeout, a ground ball, a double play, you're out of the inning. It's hard to score DraftKings points when you do stuff like that, or when your guys are just swinging and missing, not putting the ball in play. So off the Yankees for me personally. Next game on the slate, chalkiest game of the day, especially for pitching and offense, right? Hunter Brown, clear-cut chalk. Astros clear-cut chalk and bats. I mean, the Astros got 3 bats in the lineup projected to be over 20% owned on DraftKings, especially at their price points. They're expensive. Touch on the Astros, 6.1 implied run total, highest on the slate. Athletics, right around a 3 implied run total against the chalk of the slate. But looking at these ISO numbers, these Athletics hit righties for a lot of power. Yeah, they do strike out a lot, but they hit for a lot of power. Lawrence Butler continues to be mid-priced with power, low strikeouts. Jordan Diaz continues to be cheap. I mean, these guys are very, very cheap. Shea Langeliers, 2,700 at the catcher position, 257 expected ISO on the season against right-handed pitching, and he's just 2,700, hit a bomb last night. You get a little double leverage here on a smaller 7-game slate with a lot of groupthink going on. So I think these Athletics make some sense. Power guys, you're looking for home runs in baseball. MLB DFS, they could strike out 3 times, hit 1 home run. That's 14 points. That's really all you need, especially at their price points. So definitely have a ton of interest in this game as a lower owned contrarian stack on the Athletic side. Are you with me?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, you'll definitely be getting a ton of leverage by going with the Astro or Oakland stack here, and because you're fading the chalkiest pitcher and then going with a super low stack. So if they can get to him early and get him out of the game and put up 6-8 runs, we should be looking pretty good. I like it more as a mini stack, like the top 5 batters. I think you can mix and match them a little bit. I don't really want to go all in on a full stack. I just think that there's some better, they probably fit in pretty well with the Red Sox. So yeah, I like them better as a mini stack. And yeah, I think a lot of people in chat, I see them kind of being off of the Astros, and I tend to agree with them a little bit. It's a different story if the A's were throwing out one of their worst pitchers, but I actually think that Paul Blackburn is a decent real life pitcher. He doesn't really get hit around a ton. He's pretty low ISO rate on the season to both sides of the plate. Issue is that the Astros are just super hot right now. They're getting healthy. You got Brantley back in the lineup. He looks good. But yeah, I think I'm gonna take an underweight approach on the Astros for me, and then be overweight Oakland.
Yeah, I'm in lockstep with you. Don't want a 5-man stack Oakland by any means. I don't think you need to do that, but 2 3-man one-offs I think is a great play on this slate. Talked about my interest would be kind of in those middle of the order guys: Geloff, Noda, Seth Brown, Langeliers, Rooker, Butler, Diaz. I think pick 2 or 3 of those guys in there. Lawrence Butler at 2K minimum. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with that. The guy's got a 298 expected ISO on the year at stone minimum price and strikes out right around 10% against right-handed pitching. So I think he makes an excellent value play here. He'll be unowned, and it's 2K. I mean, you can double spend a pitcher, throw him in there, and still get some of those big-time Boston bats. But yeah, looking at the Astros, I mean, Paul Blackburn striking out 31% of righties over the last month with a low walk rate, ISO rate under 100. So he definitely is very good against righties. Obviously, the Astros here put a couple more lefties in this lineup. Singleton, right? Michael Brantley's back. Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez. So if I was playing the Astros, it would just be a mini stack of those lefties. But you're not even. I mean, Yordan Alvarez is 6,100, one of the most expensive bats on the slate and the highest owned bat anyone's playing. So you're not even getting an ownership discount because of their salaries. Everyone wants to play these Astros. They're going to stack them up. It's going to be the most popular team. So I really don't like playing, number one, an expensive one-off like Yordan, or an expensive mini stack like Kyle Tucker, Yordan, the 2 lefties, which 2 favorite bats if you're going to the Astros. Both of them are going to be 20+% owned. So I'm just going to take an underweight fade approach on the Astros. Hope the Red Sox can outscore them. They just need to be better for one night, and that's tonight. So I'm going to take that chance. And yeah, be underweight on these Astros here. Next game on the slate, we have the D-backs heading into New York to face the Mets. Obviously, the Mets nuked the slate last night, but I think it's a different story here against Zach Gallen. I'm not going back to the Mets side, but I do like these D-backs here against Lucchesi, the lefty here. Expected ERA right around 6, strikeout rate under the league average, under 20%, gets barrel rate right around 11% on the year. So he gets hit hard. And I like these D-backs quite a bit. Tommy Pham, Christian Walker, both smash lefties. Love those guys. Evan Longoria, Gurriel. So those righties right there in the heart of that lineup. I like 1 through 9 for these D-backs. You're going to get the 2 lefties there. Jake McCarthy, Ketel Marte, the switch hitter. Obviously, he's going to start from the righty. But if a lefty or a righty, does come in from the bullpen, he's going to jump to the left side. So I still think he's fine. 1 through 9 are firmly in play for me, D-backs. Probably my second favorite stack of the night. Are you with me?
I'm kind of coming around to them a little bit. They weren't really on my radar, but I just don't. The numbers aren't that great lately, and the hitting weather is not the best there. I do like a little mini stack here, though. If you can go like the top 4 lineups or top 4 guys in the lineup, Ketel Marte, I think he's a little bit better versus righties. Christian Walker's been crushing the ball this year. And then they got the stud shortstop that they called up recently, Jordan Lawler. He's batting in the 2 spot, I believe. Yeah, batting second, only 2,300. So you can go right there if you need the salary, heart of the order. Yeah, more so a mini stack for me. We've seen Lucchesi be a decent real life pitcher. So I'm going to be slightly underweight as a full stack here on the Arizona side. And I think there's some decent leverage to be had with stacking the Mets too. Not a full stack. I just want to say that. Don't want to full stack the Mets against Gallen. But last 30 days, he's been getting hit a decent amount versus lefties, and they got DJ Stewart, your boy, batting fourth with a 536 ISO over the last 30 days. And, right in the 4-hole, right behind Pete Alonso, should have some good RBI opportunity there. And then Nimmo's been crushing lately too. So I don't mind that as a mini stack just to gain a little bit extra leverage if Gallen, his ownership does come up throughout the day.
Yeah, no, excellent point. And looking at this, I mean, the Mets see the same thing that you're looking at. Now that I looked at it, Zach Gallen definitely worse versus lefties quite a bit. I mean, below league average in terms of strikeouts, gets hit around a little bit, decent ISO numbers, some hard hits there. And the Mets have going to start with 7 lefties, it looks like. Obviously, Lindor, the switch hitter. Pete Alonso and Vientos are the only 2 righties in this game. So I think there is some pinch hit concern for some of these guys. If a lefty does come in after Zach Gallen, they knock him out early. But usually if they knock him out early, you're not going to get the best arms coming out of the bullpen anyway. So it kind of mitigates that risk a little bit, in my opinion. But Brandon Nimmo, DJ Stewart, yeah, I love those guys. DJ Stewart, I always love against a righty, especially at home. And he's just 3,300. So I do like those guys. I think the Mets are fine. Not one of my favorite stacks, but I do think now that they're loading their lineup with lefties, they're hitting the baseball pretty well right now, especially Brandon Nimmo locked in at the plate, a little Finding Nemo action there. Maybe he finds his Dory against Zach Gallen here. So don't hate that. But yeah, these D-backs, I do like these D-backs quite a bit. It's just a weak offense slate. You got to take chances that are going to be uncomfortable. You're not going to feel great about your offenses. I mean, unless you just want to go in there and play the chalk, play Hunter Brown and 5-man stack the Astros. Because especially on a slate like this where everyone's feeling uncomfortable, everyone's going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to take my chances and be different. So I do like these D-backs and the Mets lefties preferably. I don't think are crazy. DJ Stewart and Nimmo, my 2 favorites. Next game on the slate, I think the worst hitting conditions on the board, double-digit wind, 8 to 10 mile-an-hour winds blowing in, temperatures in the low 60s. Alec Marsh going to be projected long reliever right now for the Royals. White Sox have this 3rd highest implied run total. They're also expected to be the 2nd highest on stack on the night against the bullpen game here. I think I'm going to be off these White Sox. I mean, it's just I'm a big ballpark guy. I'm a big weather guy in baseball. That's why I stacked the Mets up yesterday. It was very good hitting conditions there in New York. This is the opposite of very good hitting conditions. Low 60s, wind blowing in against a bullpen game, which I never love targeting, and a bad offense. That is going to be chalky. Kind of checks a bunch of boxes that I don't want to be a part of. So underweight on these White Sox, and then the Royals. I think Clevenger is one of my favorite plays of the slate. So I'm off this game in terms of bats, and if it beats me, it beats me here. Are you with me?
Yeah, absolutely. You'll most likely never catch me stacking the White Sox for the rest of the year unless something weird happens. But yeah, I'm not going to be stacking them. I already mentioned Alec Marsh in the pitcher segment. I don't think he's a terrible pitcher. And then yeah, we're on Clevenger, so off of the batters in this game.
The only bat I will bring up is Luis Robert, obviously the best hitter, one of the best hitters in baseball, best hitter by far on this White Sox team. I think he's fine, but I don't love it. I mean, he is 5,600. You do have to pay for it, and I don't think you even get a discount on ownership because everyone who stacks the White Sox is going to have Luis Robert in their lineups, and the White Sox are projected to be the 2nd highest on stack right now of the night. So personally, I'm off it, but yeah, I don't think it's the craziest thing. Couple games left, 2 games in particular. Next one, we have the fish fry Marlins, right? That got fried up by Freddie Peralta and Brandon Woodruff the last 2 nights here. We pushed the chips on both those guys. Obviously, Freddie was my favorite pitcher of the day yesterday. Got the job done at 30. I think he scored like 31 points or something on DraftKings, which was very nice to see. But these Marlins now head into American Family Miller Park. I'm going to always call it Miller Park, to face Colin Ray, who's not the same kind of pitcher that they just faced. So I don't think these Marlins are the craziest. I mean, completely unowned. Obviously, they're not a great baseball team by any means. They play a lot of little league, old fashioned, don't hit a lot of home runs, things like that. But Luis Arias got into one last night. Colin Ray's definitely not very good against lefties. So I prefer the lefties in this lineup if I'm going to the Marlins. Luis Arias, Josh Bell, Chisholm, Jesus Sanchez, Xavier and Edwards. All these guys are cheap against a pitcher that I think has been skating around all season long. I don't think Colin Ray's very good. I don't think the Marlins are the craziest play on the slate. And then the Brewers against Braxton Garrett. Personally, I'm off of them, but he failed to not mention William Contreras, who smashes lefties. Love him. I think he's fine. Willie Adames, Josh Donaldson now, the newly acquired Josh Donaldson there. All three of those guys hit lefties pretty good. So I don't think that's the craziest mini stack there. Some lefty mashers, but not a ton of interest in terms of 5-man stacking.
Yeah, I'm pretty much right there with you. Do prefer some of these lefties for the Marlins. I don't want to go all in on a full stack. We have some other spots I'd rather go. But yeah, like Jazz Chisholm, like Sanchez a decent bit, and yeah, you can always get to a rise, I guess. Yeah, Colin Ray has just been no good versus both sides of the plate. So you can make a case for full stacking, but I just never really think that the Marlins have that much upside to want to be full stacking them. Like them more as a mini. So it definitely like the lefties a lot better. And then yeah, I'm in agreement with you on the Brewer side. Definitely more on the righty, like pretty much all righties in the lineup, but except for Frelick. So yeah, but more so the Contreras, Santana, Adames, Donaldson, Tyrone. So like 2 to 6. I don't mind those guys. Not gonna be full stacking them either. Yeah, Braxton's been getting hit around a little bit against righties this season. He's a good real life pitcher actually. Pretty good ground ball rates all around, but yeah, we gotta pick out some bats somewhere. If we're fading the Houston and White Sox, you got to go somewhere. So maybe we get to the Brewers. Yeah, I like them more as a mini stack. Let's say Josh Donaldson. Yeah, he's gonna be starting in the 5-hole. Maybe he has he finds a resurgence with the Brewers. Sometimes it happens where a player that's been playing bad, they just need to change the scenery and they start hitting a little bit better. You look at like what Gallo did when he left the Yankees. He started hitting. I mean, he's a terrible hitter, but he hits a lot of home runs. But performed a little bit better when he was out of the limelight in New York. So maybe Donaldson finds a little resurgence here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I don't hate Donaldson. I do think he hit a home run last night or the night before. I got the alert. So hey, maybe he found something, and he does hit lefties pretty good. Low strikeout rate as well in the season. So William Contreras, Adames, Donaldson, Tyrone Taylor's historically been a lefty smasher. So I don't think the Brewers or the Marlins are crazy on this slate. Again, offense is pretty weak. It's pretty gross to be going to teams that have a sub 4 implied run total. But hey, there's crazier things, and offense, like I said, it's a pretty gross slate overall. Last game on the slate, we have the Padres heading out to LA. Game starts about 3 hours after the other game, so you're going to be sitting back hoping either this game goes nuclear if you stacked it up, or hope it does here with Blake Snell and Pepio on the mound if you're sitting up on top of those leaderboards by the time this first pitch hits. Padres, I think, are pretty interesting here, and I did talk about Blake Snell quite a bit, but Blake Snell over the last month has had some issues with walk rates, and the Dodgers, one of the most patient teams in baseball, have some of the best batter's eyes at the plate. Obviously got Mookie Betts against the lefty, JD Martinez, Max Muncy, Will Smith hit a bomb last night. Freddie Freeman hit a bomb last night. He's a fine hitter, lefty. I think this is a tale where you could play both, right? You can stack these Dodgers who are going to be completely unowned on the slate, and arguably you can make a case that they're the best offense on the slate for sure on the DraftKings, obviously because the Braves are not on the DraftKings slate, and nobody's going to play them. Because obviously it's Blake Snell on the mound, but walks, I mean, you can get into trouble quick. So I don't think the Dodgers are the craziest stack on the board. I prefer the Padres side here against Pepio. I just think Pepio is a worse pitcher than Blake Snell. But I will never fault anyone for stacking against a pitcher that struggles with walks, struggles with control. So don't think either side of this game is the craziest stack as a late night hammer. Are you with me?
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime you get a chance to get the Dodgers really low owned, I think they're worth taking a shot on. Obviously, we know the upside. They scored 11 runs last night. Yeah, Snell been having some issues with the walks. He's pretty good at limiting damage, which makes it a little bit tough. But it's not just who's to say it can't happen tonight where he lets up a couple walks and a couple home runs, and next thing you know he's getting pulled 3 innings into the game. So we know that the Dodgers, they're willing to take a lot of walks, willing to get a lot of runners on. It's just they got to capitalize when they get them there, and I think they can. I would prefer 1 through 6. Don't see much upside with Rosario, Kike, Rojas in there. We know Chris Taylor's been a historically good hitter versus lefties, so I don't mind him. Muncy has some pretty good reverse splits, and then Will Smith finally hit a bomb last night. It's been a rough season for him, but maybe he gets it going to the end right here. And then obviously you got the runner-up in the MVP, Mookie Betts, batting leadoff. So yeah, I like them a little bit as a super low on stack, and then I like the Padres side a little bit more. Pepio has been really good since he's gotten called up. Not really somebody you want to attack, but I'm going to be fading the Astros, and I need to get a full 5-man in somewhere. So I think I'm going to be looking to the Padres here. I think they have similar upside as the Dodgers and the Astros on any given slate, and we just haven't seen Pepio really been tried lately since he's gotten called up. So I'm going to take an overweight stance here on the Padres. Really like Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts in the 4-5. Obviously, Soto, Tatis, you make case for them any day. I love Ha-Seong Kim, just little power, speed combo guy, can hit a home run, steal you a couple bases. We've seen him get on with a walk and then steal second and third right away. So would be looking to him a little bit. But yeah, I like this lineup top to bottom. So yeah, give me the Padres here. Love them as a full stack.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like both sides of this game a little bit. Prefer the Padres side, Dodgers side. Usual suspects 1 through 5 mainly. Chris Taylor, you can always include him. So 1 through 6, kind of in lockstep there with you. I might play Blake Snell on one team, play the Dodgers on another is kind of how I'm going to approach it. And then the Padres, yeah, I mean, they're going to be unowned on the slate, I think. And they definitely on paper, they have a good lineup. So don't hate it. That's all 7 games. Broke down pitching, broke down offenses here. We're going to give you guys the our favorite lowish owned pitcher here, and then our home run call of the day. If you guys haven't hit the like button already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's the tour for 4, right? Not the PGA Tour. It's the tour for 4,000 subscribers here. I'm giving a 6-month membership away tomorrow on the Thursday Night Football Showdown show, and for future giveaways. If after this video is done, don't make a comment right now in the live show chat. Once this video is posted, come back on the video, comment your favorite stack, comment your favorite pitcher. We do look at those for future giveaways. We've give back a ton of money, ton of prizes, ton of free rolls, things like that back to our supporters. And that includes you guys right here on the YouTube station, even if you are not subscribers of the SHIPITNation.com website for the premium content. So we appreciate you guys a ton. Hebrew, kick it over to you. Your lowest owned favorite pitcher call of the evening.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you're going to be going to Snell most likely, so I don't want to steal that one from you. I'm going to be going to the cheapest pitcher on the board. Pitcher coming in long relief after the opener. I forgot his name for Kansas City, but yeah, give me Alec Marsh. Just purely a punt play here, pivot off of a chalky Tanner Hawk, chalky Colin Ray. And, I think he has some pretty good K upside. We like the weather over there for pitching more so than hitting. And yeah, he's 5,500, so really allows you a lot of salary for the rest of your lineup for your batters. If you want to get up to like a Padres, or if you want to get up to the Astros, I think you can fit him in there just to get a little bit different in your lineup. So yeah, give me Alec Marsh.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown again. Kind of the nature of the slate that we're suggesting playing a long reliever like a guy like Alec Marsh, but the weather checks out pretty good there for him, so I do like that. Yeah, you talked about it. I'm going all the way up to the top of the board. Blake Snell, I think you can make a case to play the Dodgers, unknown Dodgers, right, on a slate where offense is pretty weak in my opinion, but I do like Blake Snell's upside as well. 3rd best strikeout rate in all of the majors here. Dodgers smash lefties, but I think it's just either Blake Snell's going to shove and just own the slate, or the Dodgers are going to nuke the slate is how I'm approaching it. So I'm playing 2 teams. Going to stack the Dodgers in one, Blake Snell in the other. I just think sub 15% ownership on this pitching slate. He could have the most upside to dust everyone on the slate. So I do think he's a good low owned guy up all the way at the top. Go to your home run call. I'll kick it over to you first. Where are you going for your home run call?
This one's tough here. When I first started looking at the slate, I wanted to go to Yordan, but the more that we talk through it, and being off of the Astros and him being one of the chalkiest players, I'm gonna pivot here a little bit. I think I'm gonna go with Manny Machado in the 4-hole, little late night hammer off of Pepio. Yeah, I think the Padres have a have a good night tonight, and I think Manny Machado is a big part of that. So give me Manny Machado for my Don call.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to a different team. I'm going to the D-backs, one of my favorite stacks of the night. I'm going also to the 4-hole, to the cleanup spot. I'm going Christian Walker, going to take Lucchesi deep here. Historically lefty masher. I think he hits one here again tonight. That's going to do it for the Witching Hour show here. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate all the comments, all the interactions. Again, if you haven't hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. We appreciate y'all. And we'll be back tomorrow on a couple different shows. We have the Thursday Night Football Showdown show, I believe is on the Mayo Media Network, if I'm not mistaken. If not, it'll be right here on this channel with our guy Hoop, Title, and Tambo. Going to run that back. And then we'll also be back on the show for the baseball breakdown as well for all the MLB grinders on a football night. Typically, the prize pools drop a little bit, but we're still going to bring you the winners. Still going to get you everything you need to be successful in your contest. That's going to do it. We appreciate y'all tuning in. For Hebrew, I'm Nades. We'll catch you guys next time.